Oh, Sir B. That is. Oi, mate. That's my oi, mate in Maltese. How's it going? I thought I'd do this video basically just to show you parts of Malta that are not seen. And it took me 2 years on this little tiny island of going around in and out of tunnels, underneath starforts, in starforts, underneath cities, in abandoned buildings, to get a real understanding of what the place really was. Because when I turned up on the place, I went there with the knowledge of just having a couple of holidays, just seeing the typical sites that you'd go and see, like St Paul's Catacombs, Mdina, just the usual stuff. I mean, they're good, don't get me wrong, they're like, amazing, but that's just the surface. When you scratch and look a little bit deeper, there is a heck of a lot more. And considering this place was meant to be built, nothing existed in Malta 500 years ago. That's what the narrative says. The Knights come along and started building fortifications. Anyway, this is my apartment. This is where I lived in Malta. This weren't here, obviously. Google Earth needs to update. My road was called Trit Il Rempush, and it's Master Scala. And it was in a valley, and I actually found a catacomb in that valley actually. So that's what I'm going to do, that's what the video's about. I'm going to show you the starforts in Malta, because there's only 3 apparently on Wikipedia, but I've been in 7, and I'm going to show you 7, and I'm going to show you underground in 7 of them. I'm also going to show you some other rock cut stuff that I found, like rock cut buildings, just loads of other little goodies, just stuff that you wouldn't see. Like, let's go. So this is Cotinera Lines. Now, you would not be coming here if you was a tourist, by the way. There's a school right next to it. That's a starfort, and we're in the just outside the lines of it. Now, the thing with these starforts, every single starfort in Malta, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, I really don't, but my say in starforts in Malta must have some sort of credibility, because I've studied them like hard, inside and outside. I've lived inside one, inside the city of one. You know, I was fortunate not to work for 6 months in Malta when I first moved there, because we saved a little bit of money up so we didn't have to work. So I spent 6 months underground on YouTube, on Google Earth and underground. But my point is, on the outskirts of all of these starforts is multiple entrances. Now, I don't know how far these go down. This is obviously mud flooded, and we're only seeing like one level of it. But the level that's exposed, just above the mud, is rock cut structure that looks to be destroyed. And then it's been built on top of that, and then built on again. But here we go, you see these everywhere. Now, that one there on the right actually went inside there, but I only went about 30 metres, and it started going down. It sloped down and it split up like a Y. But I went in there because I was driving past it and see it, and it took me about 20 seconds to realise what I'd just seen. So I pulled over up the road, and then I ran down there, and I left 2 people in the car, and I had no light with me, just my phone. So anyone going to Malta, check these places out. But I went in there, it splits up into 2. So this is like a town close to mine. There's another one there that you can see now where it was all rock cut, and then blockwork's gone up. But that blockwork, I believe, was earlier than the Knights. I believe the blockwork on top was done by the Knights. But yeah, all of the starforts, and you can, whatever, I don't care, I'm not wrong. There is multiple entrances outside the outskirts of every single one of the starforts in Malta. Multiple. So that tells me It must have been like apartments or dwellings, because I know I've said this before. The Maltese say that the tunnel, the entrances in these places are actually air raid shelters. But if you're going to build air raid shelters, you build them in cliffs and things like that, and mountains. You wouldn't build it in a target. Definitely wouldn't be building it in a target. And I don't believe in obviously the war happened, whatever happened, but I don't believe it was real. Obviously people left their lives, people probably fought, but they didn't know what they was fighting for. Stuff got written in the tabloids, and I don't believe in any event anymore, apart from natural disasters. And some of them I don't even believe, because of HARP and stuff like that. But look, we're just going down the road. Now I was fortunate. Here we go. There's Untold along here. Heck load. That blockwork there inside that. All of these are covered up. You'll come across. I've come across about 10 that ain't covered up, and obviously I've gone in them. This one now, not in the centre, but the one on the left. But look, how old's that blockwork inside? Like weathered wise, but that one there, I've been inside, and if you look just to the left of it, you can see where they started to have another go again. These two marks, the one on the left is a different one, but the two marks, you see this everywhere, and they're the same size as the door. I promise you. Even when you're in tunnels, you see them marks, like where they was going to carry on somewhere else and stopped. But yeah, not this one. So you've got a little canopy on top. This one had a semicircle canopy. And there was an arch there at some point. So the original structure, the rock cut structure, was the shape of frequency patterns that we call starforts. And they were heavily... Look, can you see canopies on top? See, if these were like air raid shelters, they wouldn't have canopies and things, would they? Look, how old is this? Look, that one there. You see, look, it's getting mud flooded now. But I don't even believe that's the ground level. We're actually 41 metres above ground level, sea level at the moment. So, God knows how far they went down, mud flooded. But I went in one, but it's just up the road a bit. I spoke. There it is. It's one of them two there. I went in that one, and you go in about 3 metres, then you turn right, you go about another 3 metres, then you turn left, you go downstairs for about 5 metres, and then you come into a room. See, there's more of them here. Look how old this stonework is on top. Now, at the top bit, I believe the night's done. That's what I believe. And I believe the stonework at the bottom, I believe, is megalithic, thousands of years old. That's what And another thing is the technique inside and outside is the same technique that you see in Baalbek in Egypt and all other ancient places. I'll show you. I've got proof in this video anyway. I probably will waffle on, but I just wanted to compile everything, because even if you probably went on 10 holidays to Malta, you wouldn't even see all this stuff. Like, it took me research, like hours of research to find this stuff. Look, there's loads, all around the edges of it. So I believe there are like hubs, like towns, cities, and the commerce was inside. People lived on the outside, maybe protecting it. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But over here there is actually another arched entrance, but it's blocked up. Any Malta use a lot of the tunnels to run their cables and their pipes in. And I've actually managed to map out some tunnel work that they use, but I'll show you later anyway. So yeah, we're just walking in on the outskirts or the insides of the Cottonera lines now. There you go. Got a slant or slope rather. I take note of this steps with as they go together in the middle. with a door in the middle. Take note of that, because that's everywhere in Malta. And that reminds me of something you see in like the hard Garden of Babylon, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, or something like that. So I don't know what the history was, but clearly, just from this road, you can see that the history's been written about 3 times. It's been smashed up, and then look at this. I'd love to know who done this. Like, what civilization done it? How was they aware of the building knowledge that they were building advanced frequency patterns or cymatic water patterns? And obviously, you know, the shape of the fortifications now is the original shape because people have just built on top of it. So they're following the lower course. So the only thing that's altered is the top, where they've added holes or windows where you can shoot out of for military stuff. Because this is another thing I believe about these starforts. I don't even believe they're forts. That's just the last purpose given to them. Obviously, we've inherited them and we've used them for military purpose. But before that, I reckon they had a different use, and before that, I think they had a different use. I believe when people touch on certain subjects about it, I reckon they're right. I reckon they've been there so long, they've just had different uses. Because the hydrogeological, all the waterways go in there towards it. Do you know? And this one in Malta, it's about the waterways underground here. There's a lot of water that's moved around underground in Malta and stored. Like here as well, I've been in water galleries. This is still the Starfort, by the way. And this is, look, more of these entrances. I'm about half a mile down the road. And I just waffled on. Look, there's more of these entrances, but you can see how old it is. More entrances. They might have been used in the war, but I doubt it. Like, if you're going to hide, you're not going to go. You can't hide in a target. It's like me hiding in Big Ben or something. You know, just don't make sense. So, one of my favourite places in Malta is Manuel Island, because I spent so much time there underground, and every time I went there I was finding out new pieces to the puzzle. But we're going to go there in a minute. I'm just going to show you my way home. I've got a parking ticket there, that's why I zoomed in. My car broke down and I've got a parking ticket there. But this was my journey home every night. Again, just take note of the rock cut structure either side of the camera. And this slope, I don't know what this was. I couldn't get in there because it was part of like the boating Palumbo. It was like a boating yard, but you couldn't get in there. But it connects. I think it's something to bring in stuff from the boat into the fort. I don't know why I call it fort. It's a star fort or star shape. But look, you can see this was all rock cut. Even the arch, part of the arch was rock cut. The whole thing was rock cut. You can tell. So look at the precision on that. See, that was either rock cut or it's poured. Poured limestone concrete that I've been looking at recently. Because this... And another thing is, it's megalithic. These structures, like the one in Valletta's, a square mile big. Like, that's megalithic. Look, there's an old door there. Like tunnel door. So I used to drive down this road for about 6 months, and then one day I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a look. And I couldn't find, I couldn't get in anything. That's nothing. That's just like you could imagine a statue being in there, like a shrine or Jesus in there. But this didn't make sense. So you can see the different ages that are built on top of it. And you can see, you're looking back down the back of it now, how big this structure is. See, look, that's the boating yard. You can't get in there. You can't get in there at all. But it just goes on. These shapes, I can't keep calling them fortifications because they're not forts. Again, more. See, this is an old picture. When I went there, this was blocked up fully. And another thing I've noticed, I know they're mud flooded, these ones here, but it was for really small people. Another thing as well, I've been in a few catacombs, and I don't even believe they're like resting places for death, like after you die. I honestly believe they were more entrances that have been blocked up. I believe they are literally dwellings, underground dwellings, and maybe not even for human. Call me crackers if you want, but I've seen a lot, and I can't imagine humans walking around. Like, some of the places I had to literally crouch right down, like they're really small. But then on the other hand, some of them are ginormous. You'll see all of this in this video. You will see everything. You're going to see Malta like you've never seen it before. So I bet you didn't even know these were there. I bet you didn't even know every fortification in Malta had houses underneath it. Valletta's even worse. That's got like 5 stories underneath it. Five stories of a metropolis that gets opened up once or twice a year to the public. See where I'm going now here. This, I'm going to zoom in on this circle now. This is a massive, well, they say it's a storm drain, but the water must be quite high because it's up to that man's hips. The water must be quite high for that to overflow into that. But look, you can see all the wind. Oh, I don't know if you see it here. But yeah, anyone going to Malta, if you've got some rope, jump down there because apparently that tunnel goes far. I don't reckon it's a storm drain. So Malta'S Island. A few films have been filmed here. Troy, Gladiator. So they say the narrative is built in the 1720s and it was named after Antonio Manuel de Vilhena. And another interesting fact, that bloke actually built on top of existing fortifications. That's what it says out on his statue at the bottom of it on a plaque. He built on top of existing fortifications. But I digress. So yeah, basically 1592 there's a hospital there, and the narrative said it was just sheds basically. But I'm going to show you the whole island was a rock cut structure consisting of multiple buildings underground. So I found an underground hospital and I found an underground prison there. And some guy, when I made the video when I was exploring that place underground, he said saying it's not a prison, it was used in the war for this and that, and I thought, alright mate. Anyway, you see the evidence and you make your mind up. I'll show you. See, now it's used as a yacht club, and you can't actually get into the fort, which is on the island, but there's so many tunnels you can actually get into it from the tunnels. So this is parts of films where it's been used. And these are pictures that I've taken. So what I've just pointed at, look how old this is. Either that's about 15,000 years old or it's melted. And also look at the scratch marks used, the techniques on the side of the wall. I'm going to go into all of this in great detail. So you've seen it in the Cotinera lines, you've seen it in Malta'S Island, and now you're going to see it here. You see the steps from left to right going downwards with a tunnel or an entrance at the bottom. And here you can see the cheeky gits. It's rock cut bastion type. See rock cut? That's all rock cut. And then you can see where they filled in the gaps with blocks to make it look like a wall. See a little cover up there. But yeah, anyway, back to them stairs. Them stairs, that's a big point. So you've got two stairs going from left to right, obviously going downwards towards a door. And that's all over Malta. And you see that in like ancient pictures of or drawings of hanging gardens of Babylon or ancient gardens and things like that. So this is obviously part of the frequency pattern. People will say that's a... What would you say that is? Like, what's that protecting? It's not protecting nothing. So look, like, how old is that? And how far does it go down? Because don't forget, this is like the top of it. In all honesty, how high did it go? So look, here we go. This is in back at Menowell Island. You've got the stairs again. Stone cut. You've got a little entrance there. When I first went on this island, I was so scared to go in anything. And another entrance there. That entrance there, I was inside that one. I've got a picture of me in that. The one next to it. There's one just behind the bush. That there. That's me coming out of that one. And this is me just above it. See the curve? That's just me above. Now these ditches are probably about 60 foot high. And again, they're full of entrances, so I don't believe these had water in these parts. Now this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I believe they've had multiple uses. I think the first use, it was used for maybe water, as in an energy source. Steps again. You see these steps everywhere in Malta, rock cut. And then the next inheritors, they used it as a dwelling. So I reckon they're the ones that bored out all these holes and tunnels that were used and are used today and blocked up. Used in the war and blocked up. But I'm going to show you a couple of buildings. I'm going to show you inside them. I've got some clips of when I was inside them. So you've got the hospital and you've got a prison here, like I mentioned earlier that I found. This is a hospital on the left. And in this hospital you can actually access the prison via tunnels in that hospital, which I'm going to show you now. So this is a brilliant day out if you're going on holiday. Take note of all the rock cut bottom. So the first metre up is all rock cut. And again, this is about 1.5 metres up. This one's rock cut. And the good thing about this one, you can also see quite a lot of the walls rock cut. But the rendering goes up 1.5 metres. And you can see multiple colours as well. Either that or it's been burnt. Like, why is that red? I can understand green being up there due to moisture. But you can see, look, it's all rock cut. It's just the roof actually in here. That's the roof is the only thing that is done by blocks. Yeah, just the arches. You can see the scratch marks underneath the render, and this is taking you into a tunnel complex that takes you to the prison. It is incredible, honestly. This is a day out. Well,
this is
I don't know how
just
far
to
you can.
confirm
This
this
is
was
proof
the
it's a
prison. So that's number 24.
It's number 25, and that's number 26. And I'm just reading all these little stories on the wall. And this one here was 1935. Let me get the camera on it. And it's about a man confessing with Lewis Steer. Lewis Steer. And he wants an appeal lifted. What did he nick? Stationery from Her Majesty's Dockyard School. The Army, I can't read it too well. Worth of goods, I have got a lot. I can't read it that well. But that is 1935, by the way. So this is what people are writing on the walls. Look at all this old writing. 1935 again. Albert Aquilin. And again, do you know what? This is the second time I've gone out now and I've found something from the date that I'm there. Today is the 2nd of January 2020. So
what's the odds on that, huh?
Yeah, and this is the 2nd of the 1st, 1983. Bobby's. 1506, is that right? No.
Go on, 506.
Yeah.
January.
Oh, I've actually been in here before, this bit. This is the room here that was covered in all that stuff. Just check the graffiti out. Pentagrams. Swastikas. Slave, the slave of love. So that was the hospital complex, and that was how you get to the prison via the hospital. So the prison's underneath the fort. So this is another way into the prison complex here. You have to climb over a fence. So we're in again. I just want to take note of that little tunnel up there, because I've got a little funny story later on to do with that. So the entrance I just showed you would be through here, so you'd end up coming through these doors here on the left. Now this had another purpose, this subterranean structure, because it's being kitted out or bored out inside with an internal prison. But take note of that chase mark. I think services went along there, and that's original because you can see the cutting techniques on the inside of that chase mark. Here you go. See? And this is like a shaft that you'd see in Egypt, in one of the pyramids. That's what it reminds me of, like one of the shafts. I'm descending here. I probably went down about 30 metres, but over about 100 metres. And just took you to this chamber. Very dark chamber, but God knows what its original purpose was. So this is the entrance. Notice them squares, I believe some sort of wooden structure went there, and this is the entrance from the inside. And you could actually drive two buggies down there, or one big car. No, someone's scared. What have I just done? There's another room. I don't know what that room is for. But you're telling me that's not a prison? You're telling me people wasn't locked up in here with the writing on the wall? You can see it had an original purpose and it's been used for something else. Also, one of the times, because I've been in there about 8 to 10 times, come across this.
Yeah, this wasn't like this when we came.
It's like a murder scene, but look,
Yeah,
it's got,
in here, mate.
it's got the black moss. So after I uploaded that video, someone actually contacted me and told me that was part of a photo shoot. So it made me a bit happier, because I was thinking, what in the world is going on here? There's blood up the wall. Like, I'm underground. Who's been down here? There's pentagrams on the floor, candles, blood. But I've come across some mad stuff. See, this is another part of the starfort, and it is extremely old, this part. And over this part, it's quite big, this island, like big to walk around. It's full of shafts and it's quite dangerous. I weren't aware of shafts when I first moved to Malta, and I was going through fields and all sorts of stuff, and there's so many shafts. But here, I think I tried to get in here, but behind the bushes, if you go down these steps behind the bush, there's actually some doors to go in, some iron gates to go in underneath here. And it stunk of grease and oil. Someone told me before that this place used to be a stop-off station for submarines to get maintenance and to refuel. So there's one of the shafts. But I've been underground and looked up at loads of these. Yeah, so remember this. Remember that. Right, Fort Riccarsley. Or Riccarsley if you're Maltese. This again has been used for films. It's always used for films now still. And at the bottom it's a rock cut again, and then built on top. And these are the films. This is Troy, I think that one was. So it was built in 1698 and it's the largest fortification in Malta. It's been on the UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1998 as part of the Knights fortifications around the harbours of Malta. I don't really take much notice of this because it's just, you can pause and read this, but I'd just like to show you what the narrative says. And then have a look ourselves. But I had a chance to go in there once, not actually inside underground this one. I went in the tunnel systems outside that link up to a church, but because this one's used for filming, it's quite hard to get into. But one day, I was always driving up there because me and my girlfriend always used to have like barbecues and picnics around this area because it's quite there's no one around. There's no one around at all. See the gate on the right? I always used to drive up there, but once I went there and it was open, and I just walked straight in, and there was a load of cars in there. There's groups of people, and I managed to do a bit of filming, but it was on the laptop and it's gone. But I was quickly escorted out nicely. Nice people though. They realised there weren't no harm. So that's the fort there. Now it's used as like a film studio and like some sort of power station. But again, you've got the rock cut at the bottom, which I'm showing you now. And then you've got the stonework that's been done on top. So we don't even know really how high these structures used to go. So I've actually been in this bit here, and you can hear the waves smashing up. Because there must have been, yeah, that bit there, the tunnel, that hole. So a boat must have gone under there, and I used to just lift stuff up. But it's very ancient. And I was surprised there was a couple of pictures in there that these two have managed to get in there. But you can see they're in it. And the gate was open. They're lucky. That's what happened to me. The gate was open. Unless they're workers. Unless they're actors, actually. Because you always see props. And people bringing stuff in and out. This building here, I used to sit on top of the roof of this and have barbecues. Vegan barbecues, by the way. And I used to make fires. Not on the roof, just on the ground down there. I used to make fires and do jacket potatoes and that.
Some tiles on the floor and that, but while we're here,
just outside,
found this little
it's been
girl.
heavily destroyed. There's a tunnel system.
So we're going to go and have a look.
When you go in these tunnel
See
systems,
what's going on.
a lot of them get blocked up, purposely blocked up.
Yeah, so we're in.
And you want to ask yourself
Underground.
why, and it just makes me want to go in them.
Just having a little look about.
Once I spent half a day, no, I'm not saying it, actually.
There's nothing in there. Alright, hurry up then.
Mental. But I'm glad I've seen all this. I wanted to do tours when I lived there. And the last time I went in this place, you see how mudflooded that was? That was an entrance. So they really went out of their way to cover all this up. But how old is this down here as well? See the tomb
It's quite dark down here.
that I went into,
Luckily we've got a light.
in Master Scala,
I don't know.
had the same lining of wall
Directions.
as this.
No.
Not the arches,
Oh my
the
god, I
bottom
don't
bit.
fancy getting lost in here.
We ain't going to get lost. Sweet.
And that was quite weird. But that had been covered up. Even though I went in there, I broke into that one. I'm not going to lie. I took my hammer because I found 2 slabs on the floor in a valley. No one was around. I thought I was Indiana Jones. I went to work, come back next day with my sledgehammer, and
Yeah, I don't go too far.
broke a slab and went in there.
But we'll go the other side.
And when I was inside, there was
Alright, just look one way. And
this
started to get
sort
a
of
bit like a maze,
stonework.
so
Not that.
we decided not to go
This
further.
lot on the left. And it
because
went
we
down.
ain't got,
It turned left, it went down a few stairs, and
We
it
ain't
opened
got,
up into a massive circle.
bit of string.
But there was nothing in
Let's have
there.
a look
It would have been
round here.
raided and covered up.
What name was that last one?
But I
Yeah, I
really
don't
thought I
know.
was Indiana Jones sometimes in Malta. But this goes on for ages. I'm just showing you little clips of it.
What is it?
And this is the latest addition to the
Dunno.
fortification.
Oh, this is so eerie.
The night it's made. I think this bit used to be a quarry down here as well. And some waste used to go here.
Stumbled across this little tunnel, but it don't
Another
look like
tunnel,
much is going on
stone-cut
in here.
tunnel.
I think it's just for waste, because
And I believe that used
Goes
to
all the way
carry
down.
waste down to the sea.
to the sea.
Because there's a fall in it, so
let's
water
have a
used to
look.
flow away. Unless it was an overflow or a spill away or something else.
Yeah, it's all blocked up at the end.
Like a relief for when it rained or something.
Excuse the wind. You can see all the right angles cut out.
Yeah, this is definitely a quarry.
And then you come here, you find this. It's like the stones that have been arranged in a rectangle, and then you've got some cast cement inside it, which is a bit strange. And you come over to here, and you've got another one that's been dismantled. You can see the blocks there's put in it. Maybe they're like kitchens or something, I don't know. But then also found this well that goes straight down to the water. And you've got some waste that's been channelled out. So that's quite mad. Like everything used to be cut into the stone. That's what it seems. Everything used to be originally cut into the stone in Malta. But it's a beautiful place. You can see some steps there that used to be. But it's literally like it's a massive museum. I can't wait to go back there. I love it. It's probably why I made this video, really. I was just looking at all the stuff and I was thinking, bloody hell, people don't even know about half this stuff. Again, outside another fortification, can you see all the entrances in the rock cut part? This is a car park. Quite a big cactus, wasn't it? But they go all along. But no, it's just mental, isn't it? It's just absolutely crazy. Look at that. I can imagine it being different levels, water flowing through it. But another thing I always think about these is when these were built, like the stone cut ones, they must have had like plans. And they must have had to map out what they were cutting in case they went into another dwelling. So there must have been some sort of record of, you know. But yeah, if you want to get into Fort St Elmo, that's the door there. And so you get in. That will take you to a load of ditches. And it'll have multiple tunnels, and it will take you into the actual Starfort, and it was where Midnight Express was filmed, 1978. But you can see it's rock cut and then built on top. So you go in all the ditch. It's just full of. When I was in the ditch, I found one room. It looked like a massive chamber, and it just had loads of burnt carnival stuff in there from the 80s. So you'll recognise that now. Midnight Express. And actually, when I was in this fort, when I was in there was actually work going on. So me and my mate had to hide for about 20 minutes. Because we ended up in the actual fort. But all outside there's signs of rock cut stuff. But that's the entrance again. There's loads of salt pans. You can see how rugged the rock cut part is. You can see that just shows you it was destroyed. Otherwise they'd have cut it level and built on top, like to make life easier. But it's just been mashed up. And anyway, Zurich, another beautiful place. They've got a catacomb here that the public can go and look at. But there's also 3 other doors that are covered up that I don't think people know about, that you can actually get into quite easily. But I can't see these being places of rest. Honestly, think these were houses, like dwellings for some other being. You can see where the heads used to go.
And this picture here, you tell me, because this looks like an elongated skull to me. Look at that. What's that? What's going on there? Is that just a bit of decoration, or is it like an elongated skull? Because that's where they found these elongated skulls. They found one just down the road from here, like less than 2 miles away. Now this is Mosta. This whole valley is used by the military, but you can see it as a massive stone cut complex with multiple ginormous entrances. Now I didn't get to go into the military side of things, but I did find a few leftovers. Like I say, we always get given the crumbs. And I think this is where they keep all the explosives, like Maltese, the military explosives. There's also a chapel down there called St Paul's Hermit, which I thought was quite funny because I didn't on Paul. But this is a beautiful view. Look at that. Now they say it used to be a valley. Now after watching Michelle Gibson, I don't think that was a valley. I just think it was quarried. Look, stone cut steps. Look at that. And that is a quarry on the other side. And that's another interesting fact about Malta. Where there's an ancient site, right next door is a quarry. So that makes me think that, again, we was left the crumb and they've smashed up the real point of interest. Not that what we're looking at is no good, it's amazing. So they had to put this fence up because people used to jump off this bridge. This is Mosta Bridge. And I'm just trying to get a view so you can see the road that's got all these tunnel entrances on them, but you can't really see it. It's a bit of a nightmare. But it's a sight, I tell you. Let's have a look this way. Oh, here we go. You see? And these are massive, by the way. See what is going on? What was going to go on? Look, what was this originally for? I'd love to get in here and have a look. See, this is pure army, Maltese army. That is, you ain't getting in that. But I found a couple of other bits in the same valley. So I went in, and it's always scary on your own. And this is meant to be an expensive rug. When I put the video up on YouTube, my mate messaged me going, "Mate, go back and get that carpet, that's worth loads of money." Mental. So yeah, I had to go back because I didn't have my light the first time. And I wanted to have a look properly. And this was a shaft that went down. I'll show you where it went down, because I ended up down there. So there's another entrance that I found. Obviously, finding these is a nightmare. It's 40 degrees. But when you do find them, it's a blessing because they're always cool inside. But again, these are the same sort of tunnels that you see in all the fortifications or underneath the fortifications. And the ones that There's also stone cut dwellings all around Malta that are not part of the forts. I look up a shaft here. That was a shaft, but I didn't look up. That was a shaft we just see a second ago. Yeah, this is called Mosta Dungeons. Malta is just full of subterranean tunnels. It's quite a scary place, this one. So the military just nicked this. Not nicked it, inherited it. Someone told me once that, and there's a Maltese guy that told me that Malta used to be a prison island like 1,000 years ago. So that's quite an interesting little story coming from a Maltese man. So there's the chapel of St Paul the Hermit. And it is inside a cliff face, and it's actually got running water at 2 points in there. So just next to the church, water drops down, fresh water, and just on the left hand side there's actually a well. So when this place was built or carved up, it was done with the knowledge of running water being there. And that's another thing about Malta. A lot of water is directed underground. Like a bit like I've been in the galleries. There's one in Haddingley. It's still got running water now. And apparently it's meant to be rainwater that's been filtering for 50 years. But I don't know. But yeah, this is another thing. This is on the main road. Driving along. You can't get out of the car to have a look. But good job for good old Google Earth. Like, this might be something, it might not. But what in the flat earth is that? What was going on here? It don't help that you got a block wall. What was going on here? It looks like it's burnt as well at some point. If that was car fumes, the whole thing would be black. Looks like there's a little entrance there behind that wall. And more of these things. I don't know what this was. I honestly have no explanation for it. But mine was just remarkable, mate. And 100%, the whole island was a rock-cut paradise. See, you're on the main road, you can't even walk down this road. There's no path or nothing. But there's also, up where that stonework is, there's also an entrance. I had the steps leading up, which I'm trying to find. I know where it is, but I'm trying to get a good angle of it. There, just underneath the bridge. That's got steps going up. So, used to come from above down. God knows what this was. But this is in Mcida. Oh, there we go. Some sort of passageway. And another thing about Malta is a lot of this stuff gets covered up, because if you're doing building work, there we go, look at that. If you're doing building work, someone from Malta Heritage, Malta Heritage is like a, they do all the stuff to do with old stuff, excavations and archaeology and stuff like that. They will have to be there if you're doing any excavation. And if they see anything, your site gets shut down until they finish doing what they're doing, and that could take a couple of years. So a lot of Maltese builders, property developers, don't get on with Malta Heritage. and they try and bribe them not to say things. And the last guy I worked for, he bought a villa because I was doing some plumbing work for him, and he was doing it to renovate it. And he was in the garden, and they was doing some digging. The labourer was doing some digging, and they come across arches, and it went underground. And underground on the wall there was chase marks, and water used to come in, and it used to go around the wall, and you could see it had a fall on it, and go along the next wall, and it'd meet in a pool in the bottom. And apparently, my boss used to say they used to keep the animals down there, and that's where they drank, and it'd just be water coming down. So this is Tinny Point. This is another fault. A lot of right angles. So you can't. This is not open to the public, but we get in. There's a shaft. So it's just like a lot of these places now are used for services to run through. So this is an old bit of ducting, a bit of ventilation. And normally you've got cables or pipes or something, or some sort of air service running through there. Actually, take note of all the old hooks. Look how that's hung up. So what was good down this one, it's very old, you can see how old it is I found some old carvings on the wall, which is very interesting. So I found a cross. Some really old waste system that was. Look at these marks on the wall, these tool marks. But yeah, look, check this out. Don't know how old that is. Got an initial CH. I found loads of stuff under here. I think the earliest date that I found, not in this one, but it was outside Valletta, was 1377, and that was in the wall, massive. 1377. Might not have been a date, it might be something else, but that was really interesting. So I've got a Mohican. Mohawk. It's just another part of the tunnel system underneath. Blocked up by God knows what that was. Rubbish bags and don't know what was in it. And you can see that water used to come down here. And you can see how far the water line is. It almost used to fill up to the top. There's the water line. Some more symbols. Another head. And I don't know what this was, that symbol I've seen before. That circular symbol, it looks like I've seen it in like South America, drawn on some Inca stuff. Obviously I'm not saying it's Inca, by the way. I'm just saying I recognise the pattern of that drawing. Some more faces. Donald Trump. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So what were these places before? Who were the people occupying it? What tools did they use? I think they must have been. Must have been gangs of people.
Feel
doing
it
the work.
vibrating. What's this way? Oh look, there's water down there. Oh shit!
Those waves.
I know. Look at them waves coming in, mate. Can you see these waves coming in?
Yeah, they're huge, yeah.
This must have been like a secret entrance in.
I think so, but there's a drop there. I don't know if it's.
I don't want to go too far in case I fall. But yeah, basically what we're looking at is a tunnel that's been cut into the rock. And we're inside the rock, you've got the waves coming in. And this must have been like a secret way in, I suppose. But if you look at these blocks up here, look how old they are. They ain't new at all. God, this is scary. Like, look how narrow this is getting. Like, I can't even go down here without turning to the side. Like, this is as far as I can go now.
You can see this.
Right, so anyway, if you follow that tunnel complex, you end up inside the fortification. And the door that's in this right angle corner now, not at the bottom, in the centre, that's where you come out. So you end up in the grounds, so you can have a look at all of this. And also, when I turn this round, in the grass, there's a way inside the internal bit of the fort as well. So that's another good day out in there. Just don't get caught. Now this is where I used to play tennis. Just outside this starfort. It's beautiful. And this house here, the white one, the second door from the right, I've done a job in there. And the house actually goes underground. Well, it goes down, not underground. And I fit a bathroom in there, and it was in a cave. And it was beautiful. But they had a problem with humidity, and there was also water coming through one of the cracks in the ceiling, and the guy wrote to the council saying there must be a leak in the road above. But Maltese, they're like, yeah, no problem, eh? No problem, ta. Love them. There's just so much history in Malta, but you don't get to see it all. Right, if you live one life, you ain't gonna see everything. Right, I was lucky to meet multiple people, go to different places, and because I'm such a curious cat, it took me to some great places. But look, just going along the road here, look at the tool marks, the technology used, whatever it was. But this is another place that I had to go over and pull over and have a look, because I kept driving past it. But again, you can see two steps, miniature ones, going together. And then that's actually blocked off up there. You can't actually go any further, there's blocks in there. But that was another one of them ones, when you drive in and you see it and you have to pull over and then run back, have a look. So, I mentioned tunnels earlier, didn't I? Going through the whole of Malta. Now we're in the centre of Malta at the minute. And this tunnel here comes to the centre of Malta from north somewhere. Now they've obviously put a road in the middle, and on the other side it's disguised as a garage, but I know that's the other side of the tunnel because it's got an any Malta sign on it, which means they're using the tunnels. So maybe the cables or whatever went underground there, but that tunnel led all the way to where I used to live, which is in Malta'S. And that tunnel terminates here, coming straight out of the rock. Now I've actually been into this tunnel, I can say that now. I've left the island, I've been in this tunnel, and this has got cables running, old cables. And obviously a road goes through the middle of that, and then there's another tunnel on the other side of the road. I hadn't lived in this area for about 8 months. But there it is, there's the other entrance to the tunnel. Now that side goes all the way to Delimara, which is the power station for Malta. Now I couldn't find where that tunnel terminated, but I know it's around here somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But it's interesting that that tunnel, you can track that tunnel from this power station to the centre of Malta. This is what we've just done so far, the yellow line. So when I went in it in Malta'S, I only went about 100 metres. I get scared. Obviously because I'm a foreigner and they make an example of foreign people in Malta. And if it's any Malta, you're definitely not allowed in there. But that's the route, that's the route. That's one long tunnel system. So this is the fortification in Delimara. Now you remember I said to you about when I was in Manuel Island, the fort, and I said look at these bars, and it was these prison bars, and I said remember this, I've got a funny story. These. Well, I climbed up them into them bars and I started crawling through that tunnel, and it goes about 50 metres, and then I started running back because I got a bit nervous, and I pulled all the muscles in my leg, completely ruined them. But the next day I come here and I wanted to have a look in the ditch to see if I can get in any tunnels here, and when I was in there, and it's all overgrown down there by the way, and it's about a 30-foot drop. But when I was in there, I could see the bush rustling, and I thought, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, a wild boar started running at me. And my mate ran off, and I couldn't run because my legs were seized up, so I had to jump onto a broken fridge until some guys came along and helped us and rescued us. Mental story, mate. But I went back the next day and I fed the pig when I took him loads of food that I didn't want. Anyway, Baluta House. And also on Facebook he got rescued, he ran away from a farm. So that was a good story. This is Baluta House. This is probably one of my favourite buildings there. But I'll get a good view of it here. Absolutely beautiful building. Very Tartarian. Very grand. But it's not that old, this building. I've seen photos of the construction. There's a lot going on in that building. But the reason I've come to this area, Malta Bay, is because that road down the side of it, there's some more of these tunnels and more of these entrances, which I say are apartments. Let's have a look. So I'm down this road. If you notice on the right hand side, it's stone. The stone's been cut, the rock's been cut. But you'll notice doors. I'd just love to have seen this place when it was the rock cut structure, when it was in its prime. Another door. It's incredible. And no one even speaks about it, no one questions it. Here you can see services running down the wall. I've made a video on this, you can have a look at that. Got two more entrances. This is all rock cut. That's just a fake face, and then block work on top painted. Well, that's a megalithic structure. That just looks like a wall to anyone else, but that's obviously, that's got, so far we've seen about 7 entrances and 3 big doors. So what goes on inside there? Look, see services coming down, and obviously can you see the technique? You see that in Baalbek. Them scratch marks are the result of some sort of tool. But you can see the surfaces run down there. Maybe that was collecting rainwater or helping it run away. To be honest, I doubt they'd waste it back then. They probably collected rainwater. Another one down there. You can see services in front of the old one. But just from my experience, I know these little entrances were apartments. Just from the layout of inside of these places, they were basic apartments, and we see them as stone structures like that are crumbling apart, but they didn't look like that back then. Like I said, I made another video where you can see them rendered, and there's actually one in Floriana train station that's been painted inside, and it's all white. It's not all right, it's all white. Like it was a blank canvas. And I think this is the old National Stadium, the first stadium in Malta. I went over there, had a look. I think the grounds of it is built on something old as well. Let's have a look down here. Tashbiesh. That's the good thing. Look, I learnt to speak. I can speak Maltese a bit. See more of these entrances, but the only problem I have is my tongue. And I guess any person, any English person that speaks England will not be able to speak Maltese because they don't have the Arabic tongue. It's a lot of sh and all that lot. but I can read it and I can understand it, and I can say some not a lot of it, but enough to get by. There's another one covered up. So when I first went there, I couldn't even pronounce the words. Like that name up there, I was saying Taxbx or Takbx. It's Tashbx. Tashbx. El Serbi. Obviously, the first words of a language you learn is the swear words. I'm not going to say them on here. They're really rude in Malta. Rock cut at the bottom. This is the stadium. So the ground of this stadium was rock cut. And this is a water station on the left hand side, but I couldn't get in there. And I'm guessing if it was a pumping station, it would have had some sort of underground, something underground. But the perimeter on the right hand side of this football stadium was an arena beforehand. Again, they just destroyed it and put block work on top. Definitely one of my most favourite places in the world. It's going to be a long one, but I just wanted to compile loads of stuff in. As much information as I could, because like I said, you wouldn't see all this. It'd take you so many holidays to go and see all this. And I'm just trying to give it to all you in one hit. You see, over here is a catacomb that I found. Well, I didn't find it, it's all there, but you can't. This is not a tourist attraction, this is nothing. This has not got no signs or anything. Selene Catacombs. See, I honestly believe this was a house, or a dwelling. Or like, maybe a family lived here. That's what I honestly believe. Look how old it is. This apparently was 1200, 1500s. But this is inside. Just poking my head in here. I've done a video on this. And also I found a lot more. See, when I go somewhere I have a look. And then I go that little bit further. And also found a few more bits down here. I'm not going to show you here, I'll show you one photo of it, but that's it. But if you're going to Malta, Selene Catacombs, you can walk around these freely. Look, there's the pictures. It's just incredible how they cut all this out without breaking the wall, you know, because if you make a mistake you've got to do it all again. You've got to find another plot of land. Look at the stonework on the left hand side. This is what I found just down the path. Looks like something out of a jungle from South America. So that's Selene Catacombs. Not a tourist attraction, it's nothing. But it's a very good place to have a look. And the further you go up north in Malta, the more troglodyte it gets, the more cavey it gets. Like this one here. It's just incredible. But here was an abandoned sports complex, so I do a bit of urban exploring as well. I found about 10 mattresses in this one. The swimming pool, or old swimming pool. And the toilet. It's a good place to have a look. You can spend a good half a day in there. But I only pulled over to have a look at these tunnels that I see as I was driving past, but I ended up going in here as well. But I'll show you. So I see this. And then you've got that one in the middle, which is an underground flour mill. So as you walk in, it splits up into two. So you've got one on the right, one on the left. The one on the left was in good condition and the one on the right had been trashed. Now these were built for in case there was a nuclear fallout, so they'd have a supply. But this one's trash, look at that, what a shame. But the other one's in good condition. And actually this flour mill we're in is not actually the one that we're looking at on Google Earth. That one's actually in really good condition. That's opened up to the public now and then. And I think there's 7 around Malta. But I managed to get in this one. It had just been abandoned. Just take you a walk through the one that's in good condition. And take note, this is built inside a massive cut out cavity inside a cliff. So this is what would have powered the mills underneath, grinding up the flour, grinding it to flour. I think this is a lot older than what they said it was. And it's really smelt down there of mechanical oil, grease. This one's in Sidgewee. So that's what's in there, but not that one. But you've got a tunnel on the left, and then you've got a little tunnel on the right. Now when I went in here, it took me about 10 minutes because I was scared. You know, you're going around corners, these tunnels go left, right, down, right, up, and all sorts. So when I come out to a bit of daylight, I'd only come out to the other side of the tunnel. So you go in one end and then you come out the other end, but I didn't expect that. So I'm walking all cautiously with my torch. Anyway, but again, there's more troglodyte stuff up here. This one was quite interesting because you've got like a window. You've got a door at the bottom and then a window at the top. Again, it's another place I didn't get around to seeing because I spent too much time in the starforts underground, really. Especially in Manuel Island. But along this ridge, there's loads of entrances into dwellings. If I get up here, higher view, you might be able to see some. Right, so this is outside Valletta, which is obviously a massive megalithic rock cut structure, which is 1 square kilometre. That's me just outside the tunnel, sweating, 40 degrees. That's that tunnel there that I just had the picture taken out of. And there's loads of tunnels scattered around here. Tons. You can see ancient. This is all old round here as well, by the way. And I think these people live here illegally. But you can walk around all of this. It's massive. But this road here going along here is a beautiful walk. It'll take you about 25 minutes to walk down it. But the history down here is remarkable. So I used to live just down the road, so I spent a lot of time around this area, and all what you're seeing on the right hand side are just faces of a cliff face. So it's just blocks put up in front of a rock cut entrances to make it look like buildings. That's all it is. It's fake, man. A lot of the bottom of the buildings were rock cut. This one doesn't look like it, but I'll show you ones that are. Even buildings like this are completely cut out of the rock. But you've got a load of little entrances on the side here. Again, like I said, Valletta is one big starfort, and I'm going on the outside of it now. So again, I'm showing you all the little entrances outside. And like I said, that's just a face. They're not even buildings. But these are used now. These are, in the summer you see a lot of families sitting outside these, doing barbecues at night. You don't see them in the daytime, it's too hot. I used to love this area. Again, fake walls. It's just an alleyway behind that, that's all it is. But that obviously used to connect to that rock face, because there's entrances in that alleyway. This is another interesting part. This is a rock cut tunnel with a few entrances. This even had some like shrine down here as well. But you can't really see it too well on Google Earth. But the best thing about this tunnel is at the end, because you've got a door, a window and some sort of service coming in. It looks like cables would have went to an electric box. There you go. There's a picture I took. How old is that? You can even see a bit of rendering on the outside of that door on the top left. And also on the right hand side there's some tunnels you can go in. You can see steps that used to go there that have been taken away. An entrance that's blocked up. A door up there where the steps used to go to. And also just past this pillar on the right hand side you can actually go into this lot. There's a little door there. You can actually go into here, but it's quite dangerous. There's needles and that. People go in there to do drugs. But it's just like a couple of big rooms. It does go further, but they're blocked off, obviously. Bricked up. Now this bit in here is fascinating. I don't know how this is not spoke about. This is one of the best bits of history in Malta. Revealing bits of history in Malta, rather. See, all this is rock cut. That goes up about 100 foot. All of that. See all that? That goes up about 100 foot. Or even higher, actually. Actually, definitely higher. It's probably about 50 metres. And these are the rock cut houses. So we're just along the front, on the road on the front of it, and this is the back of it. If you can see, that is a rock cut building. That's where I just filmed from. And this is the front of that building. So that's just a fake face. It's just a big cover up. Malta, there's just mass cover up Malta. But this chimney here on the right hand side, that's rock cut. That's all cut out of stone, one stone. Incredible, isn't it? So that tells you something was going on underground. They're burning something under there. But on the face of the left, can you see all them entrances? Can you see them all? This is what I believe this would have looked like. Something like this. Because you can even see where wooden planks would have went, like platforms. And you can actually get into all this bit. You can get into all that. Another interesting thing, these steps are about 2.5 metres wide on the left, and there's actually steps on the right hand side for humans, or people our size, that are normal, but they're so small you can't see them. But you can see these ones on the right because they're left because they're massive. But there you go, you can see the other ones up tucked against the wall. So look, you can see these, I believe services went here and have been bricked up. You can see 3 terminals at the top. Goes all the way along there. And you can see services running along the left hand side. And here. And you know they're services because they always tee off into each apartment. But I've covered this in another video. So you got water would come down both corners, and there'd be a pool in the middle up there. And here you could see where water would come down. There must have been a pipe there or something. And there's a slab covering it up to make it like it was flush, like there's nothing behind it. And then obviously on top of that it's rendered. This here had a fall on it. I took my measuring tape down there and measured it. And you can see other services linking into this one. I think the fall was 25 centimetres every 100 centimetres, I can't remember. But to get into that complex where I said that massive chimney was just here. As you can see, covered up services running down the walls. I just don't think it's fair that people are not allowed to see this. See, that one's painted inside. This is what the one in Floriana looked like, I said, in the train station. Like painted, it looked like you could live in it. I'd live in it. And all caves are always the same temperature, no matter whether it's hot or cold. Inside the cave it's the same temperature. I think it was 16 or 17 degrees. I can't remember. You can see services running around the wall. But just around this corner is where it all clicked. Because when I see this is when I thought, blimey hell. All these lines I've been staring at, which I thought were cracks, were for services. This Henley company is about 200 years old. I googled it, I've done a video on it. William Thomas. But that's all in another video. This place is quite interesting because it's a sinkhole, but I believe it's an old hamlet, they call them, didn't they? And it's been blown up, and it's extremely old because I've got a picture of a quarry in Aslan and it's exactly the same. I'll show you. So in there, apparently there's no one lived down there, but then there's a legend saying that there used to be a hamlet down there. And there's actually some steps to take you down there. This is what Google Earth says. I actually went here Christmas Day last year, or the year before now. And I bet you that my life there's tons of caves down there. I reckon when something's destroyed like that, it was of importance. It's like it's just been nuked. But I've got some pictures to show you myself. I'm just showing you what I can show you on Google Earth. That's the entrance to it. But look at these steps. How old are they? Look at that. Very old steps. They melted. Look, same here. Like melted. This is Aswan in Egypt, the quarry. Must be the same age. 10,000 years old. And this, what was going on here? This ain't natural. Yeah, it's Christmas Day. This one was very interesting. This is one of my favourite places. This was a cave complex. But the top house had curtains up, window frames, toilet seat. An incredible place. There we go, there she is. And these are my pictures. When I went in here, the local paper actually contacted me and done an article on me for going in here. Look, there's a balcony. It's got a balcony in it. Window, curtains, window frames. Yeah, they've done an article on me. I'll leave the link in the description. And this is down, because obviously that one was at the top, these are the ones at the bottom. And these were inside the ones at the bottom. This was the toilet at the one at the top. And this was a room at the one at the top. It was just in good condition still, so you could see how things would have been laid out. This is downstairs. And to get to this, you ain't getting to this. Like, I'm one of a few people that have gone to this place. I had Maltese people asking me how to get there. You got to go through like jungle sort of stuff. Right, you can see where it is just by the pictures. So this is a water gallery. This is apparently a natural spring, but I believe they channeled the water here. And you'll see why. So there's a locked up gate. You're not allowed in there. Actually, look, this is one of the places I went to go to a few times and bottled it because I was on my own. Because it's quite underground, and this is the water station next to it. So they must have tapped into the reservoir underneath here. But anyway, they were doing works there, and I was underground in this place, and they had the digger, and they were banging some sand down, and I could feel it vibrating. So I got out quick, and I found a snake down there. Got over a fear. Look, this is it. Very old. So it's still got running water. And this is inside the cave. I mean tunnel. And this is where we found the snake. You can see where the water's been channeled. So this is Floriana. This is where I moved to. This is my second home in Malta. And it's actually a town in between Valletta, the fortifications of Valletta, and an extended part of a wall of the Valletta fortifications. So this is my house, that green door, and I think that's my landlord with the shorts on. But that was my green door. And this was actually rock cut but replaced with blocks, because you can tell there's bits of rock cut there. Faintly see it on Google Earth. But I spent a lot of time around here. A lot of time examining the area. So that's where we are. Now along here, like I said before, all the entrances, I'll start this side and show you. So you've got a slope here. Perfect angle. You've got these services running along the wall. But you've also got all these entrances again. So I've just shown you now they're all over Malta. And every starfort we've seen, these have been there. So it just goes to show, I believe these were honestly dwellings, and I believe these starforts were literally star cities, especially in Malta. I'm not going about the ones all over the world, I'm on about the ones in Malta, the ones that I've been around, the ones where I've spent time. They're all blocked up, but you can see one line running through all of them. Maybe it was giving it power or something, I don't know. Can you see the line? The cars are in the way. Take it back and have a look. There's a line that runs through it all. And I believe that's what the knight's done at the top edition. And again, it goes all the way around. So all of the starforts in Malta are rock cut. Were originally rock cut. Fact. And all of them used to have, or used to be occupied. Fact. Whether it's humans or not, I don't know. But I'm guessing not. I imagine like reptiles or smaller humans, because look, Maltese are actually quite small people. Like I've noticed the older generation of Malta are quite small people. But behind this bush, I'll show you in a minute, there's another ton of entrances, and I'll go in them and show you. I'll show you what they look like. But there's always this bus in the way when I was trying to have a look. But luckily, I've been there myself and I filmed it for you, so you can have a look. See, that bus was in the way again. Even the other side, that was rock cut. I've been in the other side as well. All down there. I've been in everywhere. But here we go. This is
So,
rough it is now.
I'm at another part of it now. I'm just showing you.
So along all
Again,
this
it was
wall.
cut out the rock originally, and there's some entrances going in. They're all along here. But this has all been blocked off to the public. But there. You see all of them? But I'm actually going to get into a part now where I know I can get into and show you. But look. See this, the shape of this frequency pattern, because that's what it is really, it's the shape of a frequency pattern, was done with that knowledge. I don't know how old this is, how old the original structure is, but it was done with that knowledge. There's another entrance, but I'm just going to go in here now and show you. Look, here we go. So this is the corner of it. There's that little lip thing I showed you earlier that they've copied from the original limestone. So that was probably there before. But don't forget, this place was heavily bombed. I think it was the most bombed place in the world in World War II. And it makes a lot of sense really. You know, they've got to hide this history, haven't they? But if you look here, I'm just going to show you now, you've got the rock cut original structure with all these little entrances in it. Then you've got something just on top of that with these square blocks. They look quite old just themselves. But then you've got on top the most recent. But anyway, I'm going to get in here and show you. Make sure no cars are there. And we're in. So look, get a close up now. So this is it here. It goes up about, I'd say about 10 of me, so about 60 foot. Obviously these doors are modern, but some of them you can go in and I'll show you, but they're full of flies and rubbish and only go in a little bit. Oh God. You see all these flies? Look, little window to the next one, they go around the corner. I honestly think, but it's only my opinion, I think the original starforts were, you know, like a city and people lived on the outsides of it here. I mean, this one's decorated inside. It's got stuff on the wall, but obviously not from back in the day. I think these were used up to the 60s, I think, for storage and stuff. But look, everywhere. Alright. Another one. Show it in. Yeah, it goes in. You see it goes that way, you've got a little ledge here. There's a beehive in there, so I'll get out of that. But look, no one can see this stuff. I'm walking in and out of trees on the main road, so you can't see it. And another thing here, this one tells you that they had like little gardens. Or maybe it was added after. But look, here you go. Little front gardens. The original cut out the rock, and then the older blocks, and then the more newer blocks on top of that. So no one would ever see this. Because look, this is what you look at. Like, there's a main road, you don't walk on the main road. And if you do walk on the main road like I did, and cross and jump over the fence, you're in this. That's very difficult to get to.
But look, I don't know, I've noticed as well, you've got like the lighter at the bottom and darker on top. Some of them even have like marks here where they've had canopies put in. And what they tell you here is these were all cut out for World War II, which I don't really believe, to be honest with you, because there's some places where these faults are that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you get a 4-minute warning, right? A little bit of mud flood there, and you can see that mud flooded. I've had to jump down a level. You got blocks cut there. Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, you get a 4-minute warning, right? I'm going to sound stupid here, but I've actually timed myself, like, because I go for a run now and then, and 4 minutes, you ain't getting to these places in 4 minutes, like from the closest house. So that tells me they weren't for the war, you know. See the different civilisations built on top. This is the original, that's the second. You can see where it's been bombed and repaired. But what I will show you is I've got, it's going to be a short video, but I find this topic so fascinating. I've ended up walking around quite a bit of it, but this is just one where I live. I'm going to show you inside one of them now, like a massive open space. But it's about a 5-minute walk away. So there's some more entrances that are all blocked up. I'm going to go as far as I can. I don't know how much this is going to pick up on my camera because it's going to be dark. This floor, oh, this has made me jump. Just staying back a bit. It's very dark. I'm going to have to do another video in here. You can't see nothing. It's just one massive open space, but there's the original arch. I did have an electrical supply going in here and a water supply. I think this was actually used as a bunker, this one, but a big one, because we're actually literally underneath the letter now. Anyway, I'm going to do another video on that with my torch so I can show you how big it is. It's humongous. I'm a bit out of breath now because I've just gone all the way uphill. It's about 28 degrees already, and I only come out to go and get some bread from the shop. There you go. Ta-da! Ta-da!
Download a free audiobook with your 30-day trial.
Very echoey. How high it is. Oh. It's like a labyrinth.
just a room. That's a room. I've been down there before. Just tiles on the floor. Still got the lights. Another room. Oh, that's freaky down here. And that door there, I think, takes you into underground Valletta. Oh, that's freaky. I'll show you how dark it is. Oh. What's that? Oh. But yeah, you can see there's wood that went along there. So there'd have been like a roof or a ceiling. But yeah, these were used as air raid shelters during the war, these ones, because they're actually at the start of Valletta. Oh, I can't wait to get out of here. Oh. Oh. The good thing about that is it's really cool inside. But very scary on your own. The holes. Why? Alright. I was taking pictures of the holes. Yeah. Yeah, it's not illegal. And I respect that, I really respect that. No, so that was a government building, obviously. She was telling me not to. But when there's a will, there's a way. So this is obviously inside. It's just multiple rooms. People use it for storage now, or people do drugs in them. A bit of lemon, a bit of citric acid. But yeah, take note of these scratch marks. This is Baalbek 12,000 years ago, exactly the same. And also you had that line that you see earlier that runs through just about head height of the megalithic building structure, or rock cut stone, whatever you want to call it. Look, but this one looks like it's been melted by something for some reason. But it's the same as you go along the whole of the side. So there you go, that's Floriana. What a beautiful place that is. Even down here. This is all fake. This is all a facade. We'll just fast forward it a bit. See, this was rock cut originally. With more entrances. And this building here was rock cut as well. If you look at the corner, look at the corner of it. There's another one around the corner anyway, I'll show you. But you can see loads of entrances along here. And the base of this is rock cut. And they've put the blocks on top of that. Even that corner was rock cut.
So that whole building, or there was a whole building there where them foundations are, that was a rock cut building. Right, and there's more signs of it, more evidence. So it's all over the place, but you wouldn't know about it unless you had the chance to live there and walk around and live in it. There is a building around here that's just I'm trying to look for it. This is it, look. Look. It's about 2 metres high. So there's a platform up there, you can see. Wood winnowing up there. You've really got to go to Malta. You've got to see for yourself, because there's so much more. This is just little bits I put together. I can't believe I waffled on for 2 hours. Unbelievable. But look, originally stone cut this was. The whole of that is stone cut. That was all stone, that building once. That was all one rock once. Even when I showed Maltese people that, they was like, oh, I don't know. Right, how can you deny it? Look. Just some people don't want their reality shattered, do they? That's all it is. That's all it is. So they just live in denial. Look at that. It's got the same technique that's used in Baalbek that I showed you a minute ago. Anyway, that's the end of it really, coming to the end. If you made it this far, good, well done. I'll take my hat off, because I have waffled. But there's a star fort, or star city. Yeah, anyway. So, that's a side of Malta that you wouldn't see unless you've lived there, or unless you've watched this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. So, one love, and be lucky. Please like and subscribe. Ta-das. Ta-das. And by the way, these are pictures that are found in Italy, which I believe a lot of Malta would have looked like. I'll just leave you with that one. Peace out.